we weren't even there 5 minutes. Well, he starts going off and trying to rationalize. And the psychologist looked at him and he said, I'm suggesting a 6-month separation. I mean, like instantly. Wow. Well, then he talked to us separately, which was exactly what they need to do. And then, so when we went home, well, of course, that psychologist is quack. They don't know what they're talking about. So he went a second time. And that was when he had said to me, well, I think this is very dangerous for you. And I think you really need to. And I said, you know what? The Lord told me many, many times to leave, that he was showing me, but it wasn't, I just kind of didn't get that 100% confirmation, I guess, but I had it then. Well, then things fell into place. And the psychologist said to me, he said, I will kind of like tell him, this is probably what she's going to do. She's going to be leaving and, we'll see how it goes and that. So when we came home, we pulled in the driveway. I got out of the car. We walked up onto the deck and got to the door. And I said, I'm done. I'm taking their advice. I'm leaving. And I turned on my heel and went down and got in my car and left. Wow. And he was standing on the porch just kind of looking at me. And I just left and went to my sister's.
No blow up. He was just too shocked that
I didn't give him time. I didn't give him time. I immediately just left. Wow. And I didn't know if he'd follow me or whatever, but I was like, no problem. She has a security system. I'll call the police, whatever. But no, I didn't give him any option. I just left. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So are you finished with the divorce process yet, or where are you in it?
Well, we had everything done until this COVID, everything's kind of been on hold. They are just starting back up. So I had, the separation had been filed. The divorce papers had been filed and served. I had a support hearing immediately. I filed for support. We were both to go to the courthouse. We were ordered to go to the courthouse. But being that there was a domestic violence issue, I could do mine by phone. And my lawyer said, I want you out of the state. He said, I don't care if you're at your son's or what, but I want you out of the state when this happens. So I was at my son's house, and he had no idea. They didn't tell him that it would be, my part would be by phone. So I'm sure that. And they immediately approved the support and stuff. So that went through. And then the COVID. So we are to the place where I went yesterday, and I have to write a list of every single thing I want out of the house. And we're going to give him which I'm fine with. We're just going to divide it 50-50. The house, the value of the house, the value of the retirement. Okay. My car, I already have. We titled it in my name. He had another, we had another small retirement account. It was like $10,000. So it was like the value of the car. So I consented to signing that over to him. So that was like the exchange there. And so basically we have the house and the retirement fund and, the house contents. He can either buy me out of the house or we will sell it. Okay. So the proposal, as soon as I get him the information, then it'll go to his attorney, and then it'll be given to him, whether he'll sign it or counter, because my attorney's like, you're being more than fair. Like, I could ask for a whole lot more than that. I will get, it's court ordered, but he's like, you're going to get alimony, permanent alimony. It'll never change. It's contractual. The only thing that'll change it is my death or his death. So nothing will be changed. He will have to pay that. So that's where we are until it goes to his attorney then, and then we'll see what he does.
Wow.
I don't know.
Well, blessings to you as you go through all that.
Thank
That's
you.
Always difficult. But I have to ask you this. He just sounds like such an out of control person. Did people outside of your family and outside the road rage situations, did other people at work ever see him fall apart this much?
He's been retired many years. He's actually on disability. So he's been out of work a long time. And in hindsight, I bet, I'm sure a lot of them did. And like, I said the other day, even my brother-in-law, my pastor from my former church, they would always say to me, and then they would say it like in a joking manner. They're like, how do you even live with him? Like, how do you even,
Okay.
So, I mean,
They knew.
yeah, they were seeing things. And like I said, his brother had seen things, and both of my sons had seen things.
And when they said that to you back then, what did you tell yourself?
Well, I knew that they were seeing just, what a not nice person he was to me, because and he would literally not care. He told my former pastor one time, he's like, if she would ever die, I'd just go buy a truck. He would just, use the money and go buy a truck. That's how much he thought, because they were talking about, well, what in the world would you do? Like even living without your wife, to help take care of you, blah, blah. I'd just go buy a truck.
Wow.
No, he would tell me, if you died today, I wouldn't shed a tear. So he would tell me.
Wow.
He would tell me kind of stuff like that.
That's shocking.
But he would say things to other people, like in a sarcastic, oh, I'm only joking type way, to me or about me.
But you
so, I mean, oh yeah. So,
wow.
But, I mean, in hindsight, I'm sure they're going, oh yeah, like he would say those kind of things.
I want to ask you some specific questions.
Sure.
Because I think there are probably a lot of women in your situation. I can think of one that I know right now who probably has had a 40-year marriage and it's very destructive like this. What advice would you give to someone if you discovered that they were in the same shoes you were?
Well, I tell them get some good counseling, like find, someone that they can talk to. And even if it's just, an online counselor, but just somebody that they'll know if that person is a fit with them, but get somebody else that you can confide in. But mainly I wanted to say is, it doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter how long you've been married. If you're done, get out of there. Get out of there. Don't worry about it. I'm right now, I never have thought of him for 1 second that I want to go back, that I miss him. Nothing. I'm free of that, and I'm blessed to be free of that. And it's like, just do it. Things will work out somehow. Because I was to the point where, I don't care if I'm homeless. I am not living in this situation anymore. And hopefully they will have so I have very supportive family and friends and church family and pastors. So hopefully, but they have to talk to people. And that's why I love your website, where we can get on and talk and encourage, especially the new folks that are coming on, and encourage them that you can do this. You are a strong woman. You can do it.
It's been funny to see women in their 40s and 50s come on and say, how can I start over now? And the 60 and 70-year-olds are saying, hey, we did it, you can do it. And
there's always a way. There's always a way.
Exactly.
Always.
So a lot of people fear that the divorce will make them unhappy. They will be depressed and in despair for the rest of their life if they divorce.
I have no depression. I have no unhappiness. Like I said, I take everything to God first. I run everything by him first. I mean, 100%. I have even if I wouldn't be, right now I'm living with my son and daughter-in-law, my granddaughters, and that was their choice to have me stay there. And,
nice.
But even if I was living on my own, I wouldn't care. I was just like, I don't care. My life is so stress-free right now and happy. I mean, I have none of that. It was the best thing I ever did, because a lot of times people will say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry to hear that. And I'm like, I'm not. I'm free of that. I'm great. I'm fine. I've always been, though, a very positive, and I guess and that's what happened there. I always gave him the benefit of the doubt. I always gave him, the millionth chance. I'm living a wonderful life.
That's great.
And I intend to for the rest of my life.
That's great. What are you going to do now with your life that you hadn't been able to do in the past?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I was never allowed friends. I was never allowed to go anywhere. If I went somewhere, then I was, I was accused of something, so I would just not go anywhere. So that was a big thing too. The last 3 years before I left, I worked in a Head Start preschool, and I got to be extremely good friends with the teachers there. We just developed it. And then I got to the point, and I was like, if I want to go somewhere with them, and we never went anywhere, we would go for a picnic or we would go to one another's house or something. I'm doing it. I don't care if he likes it or not. I'm doing it. Well, I would pay for it, but I did it, you know? And so it's nice. I have friends now. You know, I have friends. I can go to a store and not worry about somebody effing me out in a store because I was looking at guys. I don't have to watch in my rear view mirror all the time. So it's definitely freeing, you know. But yeah, mainly like I can do things now. I don't have to, you know, I don't have to worry about walking on eggshells or, you know, worry about anything.
Wow, that's a great new life. What do your sons think of this?
They're dealing with it. They're very good. And like I said, they had seen enough and heard enough that they knew it was bad. Like I said, I never went into great detail, you know, which would be awful because I just didn't. And, you know, they have contact with their dad. And I told them, that's fine with me. I don't care. That's perfectly fine. But they're doing good. They're very extremely supportive of me. They help him out if he needs help and stuff, you know, they're okay with it. And actually my son tonight said to me, well, maybe this was all for the best. And I said, oh, it's definitely for the best because had I stayed there, I would have been killed. There's no doubt in my mind.
Wow.
He was, yeah. Oh, there's no doubt in my mind. I had told them that probably the last 8-10 years. I said, I'm going to end up a statistic. It's going to be a murder-suicide. I told my brother-in-law and sister-in-law that. And they're like, don't say that. And I'm like, oh, no, it's true. That's what's going to happen if I don't, you know.
And did they all believe you?
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. Because with my son, like, he would constantly be saying, I was on the phone at 3 o'clock in the morning. Do you remember the commercial, the Geico State Farm commercial that was on years ago about who you talking to at 3 o'clock in the morning when the lady would say that? I put up with a lot of stuff from that commercial for a whole year because he would come up every morning and say, you were on the phone at 3 o'clock in the morning. Who were you talking to? Every day.
Wow.
And so he would always say, well, she's on at 3 in the morning. She's on at 5 in the morning. So one day when my son came over, I said, I want you to pull up all the phone records and I want you to look at them. And he'd be like, there's nothing on here from late evening till like late morning or afternoon. And he showed him that. He didn't believe it. Then she probably has another phone. She probably got a different phone. And, you know, it was all, but no, my sons had seen enough. Or he would always say, she's on the computer. I hear her on it up there. She's leaning forward in her chair. And so the one day he's telling my son, well, she's on there talking to guys on the computer. So I immediately handed my son the computer. I said, I want you to go through everything on this computer. He's like, Mom, I don't really want to do that. I said, everything. He opened up things I didn't even know you could open up. He said, I went on everything. He said, Dad, there's nothing here, nothing. So yeah, they knew it was him.
Yeah. We haven't really talked that much about anger. And yet to be falsely accused day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. What did you do with your anger all those years?
I probably just shoved it down. You know, I just suppressed it because, like, yes, I would be so angry that, you know, I would try to explain things over and over and over, you know, and it just never, I don't know. I guess I probably, that's all I did was just kept it in check as best I could. Went to work, you know, and came home and just hoped for the best and pushed it aside, I guess.
Since you decided to go, have you felt any anger since then, or just release?
No, it's just release. Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about forgiveness.
I forgive him, but it's for me. it had benefited me, not him. It's like, I don't forgive the things you do. That's on you. You know, I have to forgive him for myself because I'm not going to hold on to that. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. He already got a
It,
chance to hurt you the first part of your life. Why give him a
right,
chance the second part of your life?
right, absolutely. Yeah.
You seem like you know who you are. Has it been difficult for you to find your separate identity apart from him and know who you really are and what you really want in life?
No, not at all. It's no, it's just been like I can actually be more me. Like I was never allowed to join a home group, a church, our church home group. I was not allowed to have them come to my house because he didn't want them sitting on his couches and stuff. I mean, that was one of the first things I did was went back to Bible studies in the midweek Bible studies and stuff. So that's where I just jumped right back in. Like I had always been a Sunday school teacher for like 25 years and stuff. But like, no, I was never allowed to do, any of the other stuff. So man, I just like jumped right back into that.
You
Yeah.
knew what you were missing and you were eager to grab a hold of it with both hands.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I
Yep. It's
love
like
it.
nobody's going to hold me down.
Sex, singleness, and dating again. What's your plan?
None of the above. Seriously. Not
Okay.
because of my age or anything else, but it's like no interest. No interest. And then once in a while I'll think, well, I shouldn't say that. What if the Lord actually sends somebody my way? Then I'll
Uh-huh.
deal with that then. But as of right now, none of the above.
Because
I
you're
could,
someone being interested.
thanks. But no, I'm going to be 67 tomorrow. And I'm like, it doesn't even have to do with my age. It's just like, it's probably a trust thing. It's probably like, how could I trust a guy again? But, you know, the Lord himself has to tell me if he's going to send somebody. Otherwise, I'm not going to believe it.
Well, happy birthday to you, and
Thank
we
you.
will we
Thanks.
will see. We never know what God's got in mind.
I know. That's why I said I shouldn't really say that because I don't know his plan.
Well, and I want to make it clear, since other people will be listening, whether you stay single or whether you remarry, after a very long, very destructive, toxic
Hmm.
relationship like this, researchers have discovered that most people, in fact, all people, if that marriage has been over 12 years long, everybody's happier to be out. So I
Yeah.
want to make it really clear to anyone listening that whether you remarry or don't remarry, that is completely your choice, and you'll be happy either way.
Right.
After one of these
Right.
tough, one
And
of
I
these really,
believe that, and anybody else too. Like, if they find the right person, well, God bless them. That's wonderful. For me, I'm definitely not going to be looking, so we'll see. I'd
well,
rather have a cat. I do not have a cat right now. We have a cat at my son's, an outside cat, so I'm good with that. I'd rather have a cat than a husband.
you seem to be a person with a lot of self-respect and dignity.
Hmm.
How did you hang on to that during your marriage? And how does that blossom further in this new life?
Well, I think even all along, it was just like, um, these aren't my issues. This isn't my problem. I'm still going to be me. I'm still going to have my faith connections. I'm still going to church. I don't care if you don't. So it was basically that kind of a thing, like where I know who I am and I'm staying me, and these aren't my problems. And I tried to fix his it by any means, but I was like, this is all on you the whole time. You know.
Good. So you could separate it. Even though he tried to turn the tables on you and blame you, you weren't having any of that.
No, I knew that I was telling the truth, and that was all that mattered. Even now, I'm thinking, I am positive he's telling other people, and I've already heard, oh, I did this or I did that, or that's why she, left and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't care what he says to anybody. I know the truth. I don't care. I used to always say too, I'm not going to come down to your level. I'm not going to come stoop to your level. So I would just never do that. That's just not, as a Christian woman, I mean, I would tell him every rage, every argument, I have to answer to God. That's who I'm worried about. I don't care, like I know I'm telling the truth. I have to answer to him. Mm. And that's all that mattered to me.
Wow. That's just such good advice, to be able to separate yourself from their behavior. I think that's just outstanding. Financial fears that you may have had thinking about leaving or that you are facing now.
Well, probably for a long, when I really realized that I was going to leave, we didn't have that much money in the bank, but I knew it would be enough, it would be a little bit anyhow to start. Both he and I were only on Social Security. Mine was much less because I had always had dietary coordinator, cook manager jobs, things like that. So nothing high paying. And then there was a whole big period where I was staying home. So mine wasn't very large, but I thought, you know what? My plan was to move to Delaware to look for, and I had been going down there now for like 15 years. I have made some friends down there. I had really a church family down there that I only saw once every 5 weeks or so, but I knew enough people, and I thought, I put feelers out. I said, I'm going to be looking for a retired lady, a widowed lady, maybe, something like that, that has a home that I can rent a room from. So that was my plan, because I knew I could get a low enough rent. I knew I could not afford any apartments or anything, but I could get maybe a low rent like that, still pay my health insurance and my car insurance, and have a meager portion to actually live on. But I was just like, I can do that. I'll just manage. I'll just manage on whatever I have. So, but since then I have gotten some support. It's not, again, I don't make a huge amount a month, but I am staying at my son's house right now. So, and I'm probably going to be there permanently, so, okay, well, so it's financially,
like you have a great relationship.
I do. So it's been good. And he's bad. He just won't let me pay for anything or do anything.
Isn't that super? That's really super.
Like,
a lot of people feel despair or go through just deep, deep depression, whether it be situational or long-term. Did you ever go through any of that? And how did you deal with it if you did?
I never had any depression the whole time, which is, like, looking back, is probably really amazing that I didn't. Now I know, even when I was doing the counseling, and he said, you are going to have times of grief, but it's going to be grieving over wasted years. You've lost your house, whatever. I did have that a little.
Yeah.
But you get over it. It's just like, whatever. I said to my son tonight, that's kind of like I was just like, I went into my house and I said to him, I thought I'd missed the house and all the things more. And I said, I really didn't. I was thinking, well, like, what about people that have to go into a nursing home and they just have to abruptly leave and they have nothing of theirs? Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah, they can do it. I can do it. I'm always at that. They can do it. I can do it. So, yeah.
I love your attitude, man.
Thank you.
You're one of the most positive people I've ever interviewed.
Hey, thanks. I always tell people, like, I have a young friend that just had a baby, and the whole time she was pregnant, she was very nervous about the labor and that. And I'd say to her, look at all the women that have done it. And I said, even when I was carrying my boys, I'd be like, they did it. I can do it too. It's kind of like my motto. I can do this. You
have an amazing positive attitude. Where do you think God is taking you in the future, ministry-wise?
I think that I'm going to be eventually helping with maybe small groups and helping people that are women that are in the same situations. And maybe, I can't give any kind of professional advice or anything, but I can give them a little guidance and a lot of encouragement. So I kind of think that's where I'm headed. I
think you'd be really, really good at it. I
Thank
think
you.
That would be a great ministry for you.
My psychologist said that. It was like, maybe the second it was like the second visit after I had left. And I went there and he said to me, your whole countenance has changed. Like you're like a total different. He said, you would be very helpful to other women. He said, that would be good for you to maybe start a group or something. So now that I'm in a different church, and I'm really able, once we can actually physically go back there,
Right.
to get more involved with them and see about starting up a group, and
Yeah,
helping
this
wherever I can.
COVID-19 has kind of thrown us all off. But let me go back to what your pastor said. What had your
Yes.
countenance been like before?
Well, he just saw the tense, the stress, the fear, I mean that, and it was just the complete release of all of that when I left. And I
Mm.
mean, I have really severe psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis, and I mean, my hands and feet were so bad. They have been totally 100% clear since the day I
Really?
left. Right after
Really?
I left. I mean, my son said to me, he says, Mom, it's like you have different hands and different feet. I mean, I have not had to use any of my medications. I haven't had to see the dermatologist. My pain is like 2 now instead of 11. I mean,
Wow.
it has been amazing. Yeah. But he was just like, you've just totally changed.
Wow. You know, it's
Yeah.
interesting. I would say about two-thirds of the people I interview who did have some sort of health problem will tell
Mm-hmm.
me it has completely gone away or it has reduced so much. It's unbelievable after
Yeah.
getting divorced. And I've seen that in some studies, but I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't really believe it if I hadn't talked to so many people who've mentioned that. And not everybody does because of course,
Right.
that many years of abuse can really destroy a person's health. But
Oh yeah,
um,
I mean that was one thing. Like I didn't have any major health. I've had, a lot of major surgeries and things, but like I was fairly healthy. But I with autoimmune disease, which is the psoriasis and stuff, like the stress alone just makes it go crazy. It
wow,
really did.
wow.
But yeah, as soon as I got rid of that, it's been great.
Yeah, and you're
It's been
not the first person to mention
Yeah,
autoimmune diseases. That's
yes. It
pretty
the
common,
stress
I think.
is exacerbates it to the mountain. It's terrible.
Well, I want to ask you something, but I don't want it to come across self serving.
No, ask.
But what parts of my book did you really find helpful?
Uh, it's hard to pick out certain sections because I mean, really everything has been really helpful and encouraging.
You had mentioned earlier that there were certain aspects of abuse that were physical abuse that you hadn't thought
Right,
of before. Like,
right. Oh, yeah, he would, do the tower over me. And like I said, and even the car threats, they said that is actually physical abuse. And the sleep deprivation, I believe that was one of the big ones in your
oh,
book too.
right, right, yes.
The sleep deprivation, because he would do that for years and years and years. Like he would go down to bed at like 6:30 and be up then at 2 or 3 in the morning. Now he told everybody else, he would be like, I'm up at 3 in the morning, I cannot sleep, I'm wide awake, blah blah blah. And I'd be like, well, you already slept 7 hours, that's why, you already had your 7 hours sleep, whatever. He would literally get up though and be watching me like
Wow.
while I was sleeping, because he would be like, oh, I saw you like fidgeting around your pajama top, or I saw you flopping around, or so he was like, he would be in looking in my room while I was sleeping,
Like,
things like.
physically, this wasn't with a camera or something. You would actually be
Yes.
peeking
Oh,
through the door.
he would actually be there. Yeah.
Oh my
He would
God,
actually.
that's really
So he did.
creepy.
Yeah, he would do that kind of things. Or and then he would scream at me all the time. Like when we were at my son's, he'd be like, "Why can you fall asleep in 5 minutes down there, and at home it takes you hours?" I was literally afraid to go to sleep. I would stay up till I was exhausted because I would hear him down under the bedroom, and at that point we had guns in the house, and I would think he's going to kill me. I mean, I had to always have an escape plan in my head, always, no matter where I was, whether I was in my bedroom, whether I was out, whether I was in the car. like my brain was constantly in motion to like, what would I do? I would go out, like it would be nighttime. I'd be like, okay, I'd have to get my bedroom window open. I would have to go out. I would run through these houses this way to this person's house because I know they would be a safe place to go, so it was that type of thing. And I would literally be afraid that to go to sleep because I thought he was thinking about kill me.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
Because he'd say to me, well, you took my guns. How stupid are you? I can just go buy new ones. I can just do something else, and be like, and I think at that point I was still working. And I think another big thing was once I retired, I was like, I don't even have a job to tie me down. Like I can be out of here. So,
right.
So the sleep deprivation part, like I never thought about that being physical abuse, and it's most certainly was.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So there was a lot of sections like that were, really eye-opening, make you go back and go, oh yeah.
That's what that was. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how much fear do you feel right now that you've separated, let's see, how many months? 6 months?
Yeah.
8 months? 6 months.
Since October. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like 8 months, I guess.
What level of fear do you feel now?
I really don't have any. I really don't. I just trust the Lord to take care of me. He's taken care of me all these years and protected me. And I mean, he's the only reason that I'm still alive, I believe. I truly believe that. And I really don't have any fear.
That's wonderful. That's really wonderful.
Other than driving on the interstate with all the big trucks around me.
Everyone fears that. So tell me, I've asked you a lot of different things, but I'm sure that there's something I've missed. Is there something part of your story you want to tell, or an insight you've got?
It's a real blessing when you have family and friends and church family and pastors. And now that you can go online and privately speak with other women that can encourage you and you can encourage them, that's the best thing. That's the best thing right now. It's like
the Facebook groups and things like that.
You get a real connection with those women. And I am totally shocked at how many of us there are.
Yeah.
It's just unreal. It's unreal. And I never felt like I was the only one, but it's just, and how similar, because somebody said the other day about like, it's almost like Satan is scripting these things into men's heads. And I'm like, I never thought of that, but it is really weird that how they're all so very similar.
Yeah. I'm always shocked at how many what I call ministry wives, whether it be pastors' wives or missionaries or elders or whatever. It's shocking to me just how full all of these groups are of people who have not been able to speak out until they realize, wait a second, a lot of people in this group are in the same shoes I am.
Yeah.
And it's been great for them to be able to talk about it and to share their stories. And I think I was telling my daughter, I just started this private group,
I saw in what, May?
I don't know. And it's May. And my daughter said, how many people do you have? And I said, hundreds. And she said, you've got to be kidding me. And I think there's just such a demand. I realized that, that my private Facebook group is bigger than the church I attend now. And really, when you consider the intimacy we have with one another, and I don't encourage anyone to give too many details because, we don't know. There could be someone who's, not reliable or not trustworthy in there, and I certainly don't have any magical insight into people's psyches, but it's amazing to me how we support each other and encourage each other and say, oh yeah, that happened to me, or I love that. I just love that whole attitude of care and fellowship in the Lord. And we're sort of like our own little mini church.
We are, yeah. I said the only bad thing is we can't like hug each other.
I know.
I'll be like, I just want to hug you. I want to give you a hug right now.
Yeah, and I've said that to people. Here's an electronic hug.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think a lot of people
So,
are, I've seen some people come into the group who I thought, when I first met them on Facebook, maybe 4 months ago or 5 months ago, I thought this person will never leave their abusive situation, and they're
right.
describing genuine, frank abuse. I mean, we're talking really
Oh, I know.
evil stuff. And to see now, yeah, it takes a really long time, but now 3 months later, they're starting to say, I can now call this abuse. I still can't
Right.
leave. I don't feel like the timing
Right.
is right to leave. But now, for the first time ever, I can call it abuse and say, I don't deserve this. And just to
Right.
see that kind of change in people's thinking and their
Right.
awareness is just, amazing to me. So I consider uh, my view of the group is the same view I always have of my face-to-face groups, and that is that I get a front row
Mhm.
seat to watch God change people's lives and to rebuild
Absolutely.
hope and to give them freedom. I don't actually feel like I do anything. All I do is ask questions, maybe share a little bit of
Mhm.
my own story or share what
Mhm.
I've found, but I just watch the Lord do amazing things in people's lives.
Right.
So,
And it's nice that then we can in turn all pray for each other too, and
amen.
support each other like that, which means a huge, that's a huge, huge thing. If I can do nothing else for you, I can pray for you from here.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a powerful thing
Hmm.
to be able to do to
Hmm.
support someone in prayer. Because we know that prayer, even if God didn't change our spouse, God is changing us and giving us courage
Right.
and power and strength that we didn't
Right.
even think we had.
Right.
And I mean, to me, you seem to be one of the fortunate ones. But so many of us walked out of there thinking, I don't know, I'll never be able to support myself. I'll never be able to
Yeah.
raise these kids by myself. And so
Oh,
we
I'm
had all
sure
these
that. Yeah.
doubts.
If
So,
I'd have had to try to do that one with young children, I'm sure that's why I didn't go. When the kids were still young, I
yeah,
was just like, I couldn't do it. I had no financial way to do it.
yeah,
Couldn't do it.
yeah, that's what
Yeah.
keeps us in there. Well,
Yeah.
thank you,
But
Karen. You're just
oh well, thank
wonderful.
you.
And
Thanks.
this has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Well,
And
thank you. It was
keep,
wonderful to meet
keep
you.
co-ministering on that Facebook page. I appreciate it.
That's my plan.
Okay.